Hello, first grade Cougars, it's Mrs. Balatash, and this week we are going to turn our attention to light. We spent a couple of weeks talking about sound, and now we're going to talk about light. When I say the word light, what do you think of? Talk about it with your teacher and your classmates. When I think about light, I think about the sun. The sun is where most light on Earth comes from. I'm outside and it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day because the sun is out. I don't want to look directly at the sun, and boys and girls, you should never look directly at the sun. But the sun is giving me light and heat and is bright, making the day bright and lovely. The sun is the source of light. So we just saw that wonderful, amazing sun outside giving us light. But where else can light come from? Talk to your teacher and your classmates. Where else can you find light inside your house? Well, light can come from a lamp or a ceiling light. I have ceiling lights in here. It can come from stars, and it can also come from lightning. So some of those are natural sources of light, like the sun and stars and lightning are natural sources of light. But lamps and the overhead light bulb, those are man-made sources of light. Now what we're gonna do is that we are going to get a flashlight. I have a flashlight here. And do you see when I turn it on, you can see the light. More light comes out. If you have a flashlight, you can use a flashlight. If you don't have a flashlight, you can ask your parents to borrow their cell phone. All cell phones have a flashlight built in. But a flashlight is a great thing to have. So if you can grab a flashlight, and boys and girls, we're gonna need a few other things from your bag. In your bag, you should have this little metal washer, and you're gonna need to get a little piece of aluminum foil and then put it into a ball. And instead of having a plastic disc, we're going to use a quarter or a penny. Anything flat like this would be fine. So get those materials and we're going to start talking about light and shadow. Okay, boys and girls, it's hard for me to make a video without any light. And I need to turn off the light in order to play with the flashlight. So I'm sorry, it's gonna be a little strange video without any light on me. I want you to take your flashlight and turn it on. Usually there's a switch on the side, so you're gonna push it up or push the button, turn on your flashlight. And then I want you to take your flashlight and have it pointed directly down at the table. I want you to notice what happens with the light from the flashlight. Here, I've got the flashlight really close to the table, and the light is very bright and narrow. But as I pull my flashlight farther away from the table, the light gets spread out. Here, when it gets close, the light is very focused. And as I pull my flashlight away, the light gets spread out. Okay, again, it's a little hard to do this video in the dark, but I need to have the dark in order for you guys to see what's happening. So, I've got my flashlight and I'm gonna put my hand over the flashlight. Do you see how some light goes through my fingers? There's a little space. And my skin makes it kind of look like a red. It looks like some light goes through. It's kind of a fun, creepy thing to do for Halloween. Ooh. Now, I'm gonna put my hand in front of the flashlight, and I want you to look on the board. Look behind me. Do you see the shadow that's on my whiteboard? When my hand is close to the light, my shadow hand is huge. Do you see how big that shadow hand is? When my hand is farther away from the light, my shadow hand is small. Boys and girls, I want you to play with shadows a little bit. What happens when you put your hand in front of the flashlight? What happens when you put other things in front of the flashlight? Pay attention to the shadow. All right, boys and girls, I want to talk about shadows. What makes a shadow? Right now, I have a block right here, and I don't see a shadow. I'm going to turn on my flashlight. And now, look at that. I see a shadow. I'm going to take my flashlight away. I'm going to just see if I can get a little bit of light. Woo! Oh, look at that shadow. Look at that. That's interesting. No light, no shadow. Light, shadow. All right. I'm going to take the block away. Light, no block, no shadow. It seems like I need two things in order to make a shadow. I definitely need light. So here's my light. And I need something that's going to block the light. Look at that. There's the shadow. Let's try a couple other things. So in order to have a shadow, we need to have a light. We need to have an object that blocks the light. And then we have a shadow. All right, the light is back on. Boy, it's so much easier to see when there's light going into my eyes. Boys and girls, please take out your science notebook and go to the next blank page. I realize that I have forgotten to be numbering my pages. So I started numbering my pages again, and I put the date. I want you to get this page out of your packet, and it says, Making Shadows. Match the object to its shadow. So take a minute and look at the shadows and use your pencil to draw a line to the matching shadow. Okay, so that's how I did mine. I hope that you have the same answer. Then the second question says, what makes a shadow? And boys and girls, why don't you talk about it for a minute? But based on our experiment, I said you need a light source, the flashlight, and you need an object to block the light. So we used a bunch of different things. We used the washer, we used aluminum foil, I used a block. Every single one of those blocked out the light. So you know what a shadow is? No light. The light is blocked by the object. I am outside again, and I just want to check and see if a shadow is light that has been blocked by an object. So outside, the source of light is the sun. Hello, sun. Well, here's a great big shadow. Huge. What could be blocking all that light? Well, these enormous trees are blocking the light. I'm on the playground and I found another shadow. What could be blocking this light? It's a tetherball pole. Okay, oh my gosh. Boys and girls, what is this? This is a crazy looking shadow. What could this be? Let's see. Oh, it's Mr. Martinez!
Hey, everybody!
I had a fun time learning about light and shadows with you today. We're going to continue talking about light and shadows and the sun and lots of fun things with light. See you next week, Cougars.